Hello everybody, welcome to GG, where I'm going to give you a bit of a preview towards tomorrow's Hong Kong meeting over at Sha Tin. Great that the meeting goes ahead. Of course, there have been quite a few political tensions in the region, but it shouldn't affect the racing, which is some way out of the city centre. 4 international races as usual, and they get underway with the Vase, which is one of just 2 races over 2,400 metres or a mile and a half to take place at Group 1 level in Hong Kong. And it's hard to get away from the favourite in this, which is Exultant. Used to be called Irish Correspondent when he was trained by Mick Halford in Ireland, and he's been an absolute star for Tony Cruz. He won this race last year. Since then, he won the Champions and Chater Cup over course and distance, and he's very much the one to beat. He actually trialled in the trial race for the Cup last time over a little bit shorter, beating several smart horses there, and I think he is the one to fear, although we have a bit of a first at the meeting in that the Derby winner Anthony Van Dyke is taking his chance for Aidan O'Brien. He has to have a massive shot here because he was pretty unlucky, I thought, behind Bricks and Mortar last time out at the Breeders' Cup. Assuming the travelling hasn't been too much of an issue for him, he's a classy horse still, and although he hasn't won since that Derby victory, I think he can go very close here. He looks interesting. And another one I quite like, who's an improving horse but will need to, is Aspetar for Roger Charlton. He just won a Group 1 in Germany, which wasn't the strongest race, but he's got a master trainer, and I think he's one who can perhaps run well and maybe make the frame. Also in the race, we have everyone's favourite globetrotter Deirdre, who's run in the Cup before, and she was a little bit disappointing, quite well held in the QE2 over shorter in April, but her connections have stepped her up to this mile and a half, feeling that the longer run to the first turn might just help her. I don't think she'll win it, but it's great that she takes her chance here. Another one for Japan. On to the sprint, and the banker of the day for many people will be Athero. He just looks a superstar in the making. He's only a 3-year-old and he isn't really proven at this level, but he was a couple of lengths too good for Hot King Prawn last time in the trial for this. He just looks to have devastating speed. Hot King Prawn himself is obviously a very good horse, but he would have to reverse form and give weight to Athero here, and he did flop somewhat, albeit from quite a wide position in this race last year. So Athero, firmly the one for me in the sprint, which is a race that pretty much always seems to stay in Hong Kong these days. On to the mile, and I was quite surprised to see that Beauty Generation was still favourite for this. I know he's an absolute superstar over in there and has been Horse of the Year before, but he's been beaten on his last 2 starts, and I don't think there were too many excuses last time, so I'm going to take him on with a Japanese horse, Indie Champ, who looks an improving sort and who won the Group 1 Mile Championship at home last time. I like him in here. And also Sir Michael Stout's Zaki, who's yet to really be tested in Group 1 company, but he was a good third behind Ben Battle in the Shadwell Joel Stakes at Newmarket when we last saw him. Ben Battle himself perhaps let the form down a little bit on Champions Day, but that was in soft ground. And Zaki just has all the sort of hallmarks to me of a Sir Michael Stout horse that he's aimed at this for some time, and no real concern with him when he brings them in via lower level prep. So quite like Zaki there, maybe for a bit of a European upset in the mile. The Cup is the most valuable race that they stage in Hong Kong all year, and Wimbright is among the main sort of contenders here. He won the QE2 last time in April. I suppose he is the one to beat, although he has been beaten a couple of times in Japan since and was only 8th last time out there. So he hasn't had perhaps the most impressive prep for this. And there's a couple of fillies in here that interest me. Magic Wand has got so many air miles on the clock. Last time we saw her, she won the McKinnon Stakes, backing up quickly in Australia for Aidan O'Brien. I'm a bit concerned that at the end of a long season, this might just be a little bit too much for her. On the other hand, Adisa has been brought along quite nicely by the Aga Khan's team. She was second in France last time, and as a 3-year-old filly gets a lot of weight, so she could be interesting in the Cup. But that race is perhaps, despite being the most valuable, one of the least interesting on the day. But it's still a really good card and well worth getting up early to watch it on Sunday morning.